are in downtown Chicago, this is your All Elite Wrestling WWE NXT post show. CM Punk is back on WWE TV, but is he back with WWE? Who knows? We're building the Survivor Series War Games. And what's going on with this Wardlow guy?
CM Punk. CM Punk.
What's going on, everybody? Oh, man. We got people saying they should smell their feet. The chat's already lighting up, baby.
What?
You can follow me on Twitter at Kellam. Joining me, as always, is my friend who looks like Seth Rollins, but is not Seth Rollins. Oh, no. Mr. Robert DeFelice. How are you doing, Robert?
I am excited, Kevin. Wrestling has hit us with some big news over the last 24 hours, and I'm excited.
It was an exciting night of AEW and NXT. We had a ton of breaking news. CM Punk is not the only person who's doing some fresh business with WWE. A story that some people may have forgotten about today. We'll get into that as always. A lot to get into. A lot to get into. If you're with us for the first time on this live post show, your comments can get on screen. If you're watching the show anywhere else, your comments are also involved. We're going to respond to you guys even after the show goes live. If you're listening on the podcast side, rate, review, and subscribe. Subscribe on iTunes, any of the different apps that you listen to it on, or watch it on. Subscribe as well on YouTube, all that good stuff. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Let's get into it. Fun, interactive time. We're going to talk about WWE, NXT, and AEW. They had a lot of business tonight, but let's get to the man everyone's been talking about all day long.
Jesus.
CM Punk. He made his big return to the wrestling world. Now, we knew he was talking about doing something with WWE in terms of a television deal, or at least indirectly, dating back over 2 months now. We've known about this. And this has been developing for quite some time. Mm-hmm. The WWE Backstage show we knew about a few months after WWE settled into this huge multi-year billion-dollar deal with Fox Entertainment to bring SmackDown over to Fox. They were also going to do this very interactive, fun show, WWE Backstage. The episodes I've watched, I've never left it feeling not entertained or engaged by it. But the show premieres officially after a few kind of pilot test episodes with Renee Young, Booker T, and Paige. Last week. And then this week, last week on the 14th, I believe, they did a official premiere episode. And the ratings weren't super fantastic, right?
No.
Late night show, Tuesday nights, and the previous episodes, they bounced around at different times, right? It was so I think maybe that may be a factor, but who knows, right? Whole different thing. And you can say whether or not they're being reactionary. Second week of the show, we get to the final segment of the show. A lot of quick cuts, a lot of quick 3-4 minute segments, very fun stuff. Mick Foley's on the show. Booker T, Adam Cole from NXT there. He's been a very talked about character. Pretty stacked show. Very fun. They're trying to amp it up and make this thing work. Even with the ratings hit there. And then CM Punk is introduced at the end of the show. The clip for this on WWE on Fox YouTube channel has been viewed nearly 3 million times in less than 24 hours. I can tell you from checking Google Trends, CM Punk WWE Backstage was in the top 50 Google Trends in the world within 15 minutes of this story breaking. You can say whatever you think of CM Punk, but this is a big story. Even if he's not getting in the ring just right now, even if we're not going to see him at WrestleMania or whatever, we'll get to that. We don't want to, strap the horse before we load up the cart, right? Is that the phrase?
That's not the phrase, but whatever.
What is it? What's the phrase?
Don't put the cart before the horse.
Yeah. So we got CM Punk back on a WWE television show. And for what we know, this deal is not with WWE.
Yet.
It's with Fox. What did you think of it? What was your reaction? I was not watching it live, but I got some text messages from you. I got at least 5 or 6 text messages from other people. I was watching a movie late at night with a lady friend.
Yeah, well, because...
And I was making my way home in the frigid temperatures of Chicago, and I said, you know what? I'm on my phone all the time for work. I'm just going to step away from it. Stressed out. I picked the wrong time. You can't... wrestling is a 24-hour news cycle right
now. Let me double up on your story there.
Yeah.
I'm eating some dinner. I'm like casually tuning into Backstage. I see one segment about, should WWE scrap the Lana angle? This is degrading to women. This is what they're saying on the show. And I'm like, this isn't really my cup of tea. They do the satin.
I will say that about the WWE Backstage show. They do debate storyline things, and they're using the word angle and stuff like that.
In some cases, they're straight up crapping on angles.
Yeah, and then in some cases there's pseudo kayfabe and stuff like that. And I thought that was I like that. I think that's what we thought the stuff in the WWE Network would be in terms of like the wraparound footage, but that's all within kayfabe. This feels like it kind of wanders in between the two, and I'm okay with that.
For me, not my cup of tea. It's about 11:50 where I am. They do the satin sheet, and I'm like, all right, cool. Nothing's going to happen. It's midnight on a Tuesday. Put the phone in the pocket. Go upstairs. Pull the phone out the pocket. Boom, 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 boom. CM Punk is in WWE. Wow. So what this taught me here is don't turn away from a single television show ever for a second, because you will miss some groundbreaking news. I will say this as far as the actual return. I thought it was cool. I thought CM Punk had the line of the year with the, just when you think you have the answers, I changed the culture.
It was a great line.
That's like, if you encompass the last 5 years, it's CM Punk saying, I changed the culture. I'll see you next week. And my favorite thing.
That was a big mantra of his character in WWE when he re-signed that deal in 2011 is, I want to change wrestling.
And my favorite thing of all, Samoa Joe, who has history dating way back with CM Punk, just stood there with the biggest smile on his face, watching his friend have this moment. Like, this is cool. We're living history. And now, I'll be honest. Hi, I'm a CM Punk Mark. First thing I did when I woke up this morning was check to see if they put out a Change the Culture t-shirt, because I think they should. They have not. I'm guessing
we'll get into the cultural thing too, because there's another counter argument to that that we'll talk about. But no matter what, it's something we knew sort of could have happened, but it looked like it wasn't, and now it is. And even if it's just him talking about WWE, this is a guy who even a little bit more than a year ago said he couldn't watch 8 seconds of it, that he didn't feel like he wasn't drawn to it. But here he is as a personality now, and certainly one with a lot of conflict with WWE, a long legal drawn out battle, then another legal battle related to that with Colt Cabana, and this is a guy who documented all of the reasons why he walked out on WWE, and didn't feel like he wanted to be there anymore. And then tried the UFC thing and got to do some independent films, got to do some other things. 5 years removed from it. Is there water under the bridge? I don't know, but I don't see him getting back in a ring anytime soon. I know a lot of people are jumping to that already. Let's just get right there, because immediately when you see this, your assumption is what?
Yeah,
What's the assumption? What is the immediate assumption? Oh, he's not just there for a talk show.
The door is kicked in, and if CM Punk ever wants to do Mania, I think he will. That's fact. I think he will. He can. I want to see Punk versus Joe. I don't care how bad it is or how good it is. I want to see it.
You just want to see it. You just want to see it.
It's one of those things. I think that match and Punk and Cassius Ohno, I don't care where, how, and when. I want to see the match.
I think there's a lot of other people who just want to see CM Punk in a wrestling ring doing wrestling matches.
Rollins is Mr. Twitter, who gets into a lot of shiz on Twitter. First thing he did was fight me, CM Punk. That's the first reaction he had. Listen,
immediately, you gotta love the age of social media where, like back in the day, they used to call it going into business for yourself, right? How many people can just do that left and right?
The first thing Rollins did.
Randy Orton was online last week saying, John Cena, why don't you and me do another match at WrestleMania? It's like, what? Like, years ago, people would be like, it's so unprofessional. It's so ridiculous. Now it's like, another day.
Now it's like, shoot your shot. Rollins immediately said that. Rollins immediately responded to the Fox Twitter account saying, fly me into backstage so we can talk about it. People are already trying to work themselves into a match with this guy, which makes sense because here's a guy who sat up in the hotel in StarCast and said, nobody said they want to fight me. So Rollins hears that and he said, okay, fight me. I don't think you're going to get it with Rollins. And I don't think you're going to get it at Mania, but I think you're going to get it within the next year or so. I think CM Punk.
You think he's wrestling again?
100%. You don't.
Come on, Robert. Really? I don't think. I'm not saying that it isn't possible. Right? I'm not saying that it isn't possible because crazier things have already happened. Right? And another thing is like this cycle of big name established talent. Leaving WWE, very much voicing their displeasure, going into legal battle with them, and then going to a competitor, Bret Hart, right? Ultimate Warrior, and then Bruno Sammartino, like coming back to the company in a non-wrestling role or some non-wrestling deal, whether it be merchandising, the video games. This has happened. This kind of pattern has happened. But it's still like, this is a guy you thought would never want to do any indirect business with WWE again. And here he is.
I'll say this. I think it happens, but I think it happens with somebody he's very comfortable with. So it's got to be a Brian, a Joe, a John, a John Cena match. Stranger things happen,
let's refer to him on a first name basis.
Oh, he's John. I know him. He's a cool guy.
Melly Mel saying CM Punk will wrestle at Mania in Tampa. People are already saying it's going to happen.
I don't think he wrestles in Tampa. I definitely think
Robert, if you're gonna come back, if you're gonna do it, and you're gonna change the culture, and you're gonna there's no bigger way to do it then. And immediately everyone's fantasy booking the Royal Rumble and he's in the number 30 spot. And, we got a quote from Bully Ray over on Busted Open on SiriusXM saying, this gives fans hope that he's going to have a match. Obviously, it's going to give fans hope that he's going to have a match. But the issue then is, does this create unfulfilling expectations if he doesn't have a match?
Yes, but that's okay because it's wrestling. I think wrestling and wrestling fans, we're always fantasy booking. We get the damn question every day on the show. If we're going to see Sting and The Undertaker, and it's 2019. But, there's always that, will we see it? It can happen. Do I think they give Punk the main event? And I think it has to come with somebody who knows how to work with Punk and knows how to work around Punk. He said it himself. He says, I look at a guy like Will Ospreay. I can maybe work around that. I can't do that, but I can work with that. I think it's just a matter of time.
Tawab Hamed, faithful follower of everything we do here on Wrestlezone and the Wrestlezone Daily. Thank you, Tawab. He says, I'm pointing it out. You two guys called it. I think Robert did when he said CM Punk is coming back. When WWE Shop only had one shirt of CM Punk, and it wasn't WWE Shop, by the way. This is Pro Wrestling Tees to be
and
clear.
That store, by the way, is now closed completely. Not even the CM Punk sucks shirt.
But mind you, Pro Wrestling Tees probably did a very, very healthy amount of business with CM Punk.
They cleaned up with CM Punk.
So don't think that they're being, and we've had the people from CM Punk on the show.
No,
I wouldn't say people from CM Punk. We've had I know we've spoken with Scrump from Pro Wrestling Tees and the Pro Wrestling Tees podcast.
Matt Hicks,
Matt Hicks from Freelance Wrestling. I am saying no ill will to Pro Wrestling Tees. They do a lot of great things for a lot of great wrestling talent, and they make a lot of really cool stuff. Our merchandise, you can go get Wrestlezone shirts at Pro Wrestling Tees. But the fact that there's no deal there leaves a lot of people to think things.
Well, leaves me to say this. It's not like CM Punk's fans suddenly don't want merch.
Nope.
So for them to pull Punk merch has to mean it's coming to shop. Even if it's just the retro tees. And they're going to start selling like the best in the world one. Or the ice cream bar shirt or the I Dig Crazy Chicks. By the way, speaking of, I want AJ Lee in something.
Oh, calm down. Let's just process what we had happen less than 24 hours ago. Everyone's losing their... We haven't even talked about AEW or NXT yet. We will. Don't worry.
We're going to get there. It was a big news day, and you said we're not processing things. Look at how fast things process. Look at how fast it's like, bam, Punk is here. Now that door is open. That went from probably never going to happen to that door is wide open, and he's here. That is how fast things move in 2019.
Let's just talk about what we know. The guy's going to be on WWE Backstage.
Not every week, apparently.
Not every week. But him on there, like I said, this is a guy who said he wasn't fond of wrestling for a long, long time, is now going to be a talking head about it. He has a lot to say. A lot of pipe bombs may be dropped on the show. And now this is a guy who is going to get paid to talk about WWE. How unfiltered are we going to get it? Like, this is a guy he is no problem saying exactly what he thinks and has no problem pissing anyone off along the way.
Look at the nature of the show. The people who are employed by the company and will have to go on TV and plug their storylines are out and out crapping on the storylines. It's the perfect environment for CM Punk. Or even, let me go a step further here, the idea of CM Punk, who is the guy who is anti-establishment. It is the perfect platform. And I think it'll be very fulfilling. I know it means that I will now be watching Backstage no matter what, because I will see CM Punk. I will listen to him talk.
Yeah, and another key thing is we didn't know this wasn't teased at all. There was no like, hey, we got something coming up. There was no, hey, they had a lot of commercial breaks in that show. I think the show's only an hour, and there's a lot of like quick commercial breaks to it. So they're teasing quite a bit. In no way did they tease this. They just came back. They did the last thing. Here's all four of the people on the show. And Renee just starts saying, we're going to make some moments here. And she counts down 3, 2, 1. The other people on the show are like, yeah, sure. What's going on? The music hits. It was quite a moment. Paige's reaction when she said, is this a rib? I thought that was really cool.
I feel like Paige was genuinely surprised and genuinely excited. Like, she even said, you don't want me to curse, but yet you just randomly throw out CM Punk.
We got some news about Paige too, by the way. We're going to talk about that in a second. He's on the show. I think he's going to be unfiltered. I think he's going to say a lot of things for that crowd of people that really just want to go off on Vince McMahon and Vince, and we got to take down the machine, but we watch the machine, and we got to destroy the WWE, but watch the WWE, and we got to there has to be an invasion, and NXT and AEW are the best, and Raw and SmackDown suck. Like, this guy is going to scratch their itch, I think.
Punk is going to talk about AEW on Backstage. I would not be surprised at all if Punk looked at Renee and goes, God, I'm glad your husband's okay. I heard he went through quite a bit. They're going to do that.
Oh, like he'll do these. Yeah. He'll do the winks.
Oh,
he'll do a lot of that. And the thing is, he's clever. He can do it, and he can also do it without like throwing off the show. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think that's very fair to say, and I think he's
I don't think, especially in Fox Sports 1, I don't think on those circumstances are they opposed to it. And other CM Punk news, you got that big old YouTube dork, Logan Paul, very popular, very successful guy who might have crap on him. He's probably got a lot more people watching him just, go to the bathroom or something like that on the internet. He had that ridiculous amateur, well, it was professional boxing with another YouTube personality on DAZN. Apparently they did fantastic numbers. They have huge followings. And already he's been angling to have some type of MMA fight with CM Punk. So, pro wrestling though, right? It's definitely pro wrestling. It's pro wrestling marketing for a legitimate fight.
I said I would pay good money to see Logan Paul get legitimately knocked out. I'll be honest, I don't.
Knocked out. Did you see clips of that? It was really sloppy.
I don't think Punk is the guy to do it. So I hope this challenge is not accepted, as I don't think Punk is the guy to knock out Logan Paul.
Let's be clear. Logan Paul wants to get into the CM Punk business. CM Punk doesn't want to get in.
Which is very true. Can we get Brock Lesnar into that business? I'd pay good money.
You want to fight? Let's see that one. But I think CM Punk could handle him. I don't think that's much of a debate. I'm not going to waste much time on it. It's wasted time. So a lot of people, a lot of different takes here. Let's just go to the fans here. We will talk about AEW. I do want to get into it and all the different stuff here. Other people feeling you on the AJ Lee stuff already. Definitely excited about it here. People want to see those pipe bombs. They want to see CM Punk drop some pipe bombs in here.
Apparently, AJ went on Twitter and said the first thing she asked him was, "Okay, now where's your wife?"
Exactly. Shamu Kapirian, great fan of the show. He says Punk is paid to praise WWE on a bi-weekly basis. Well, a couple of things here. Let's
I like that you think you know how this man gets paid. First of all,
First of all, Shamu, I have to clarify to you what we know publicly. This is something he put out there himself. CM Punk said this, that his dealings were with Fox on this. That he's only dealt with Fox. And this is him talking about hypothetically after just doing an audition for this. He went on the record on Collider Video on Barstool Sports and said, like, yeah, I had an audition. And as far as I know, I would just be working with Fox on a WWE show with people that I know, with people that I like. So in my eyes, that means he can say whatever he wants. Now, can they limit the amount of time he's on air? Sure they can. Sure they can. Absolutely.
But again, Fox has Renee Young, who is the female voice of WWE, crapping on storylines. I need you to understand that Backstage is not a shill show. It really is not. And
there's some shilly things on it, but I also don't think a show that's like WWE bias is particularly bad if it's entertaining and they do some different things with it. They did that segment, I believe it's Samoa Joe and Gabriel Iglesias cut promos on each other.
Yeah, the promo class.
And it was really funny. I thought that was like a really, really fun, entertaining segment where they just bring in, and mind you, they let you know this isn't going to lead to a match or anything like that. But this kind of like cut promos with like different celebrities and stuff. I thought that was a very, very clever segment. And they have a lot. It's a fun show. You don't have to think too much about it. Like I think people get way into their own heads about it. They all want someone to be a shit stirrer, right?
Oh, Punk. This is what we know. Punk and Joe will be on the show together next week. That's going to be fun. Punk and Joe
great.
Are going to be talking about Brian. Going to be talking about NXT, Adam Cole.
Come on, all this stuff. The best one of the best matches I've ever seen live that I ever got to see like live was CM Punk versus Samoa Joe 2 in Ring of Honor. I think this is in 2003 or 2004. 2004. I was there live, lost my voice watching it. An absolutely incredible Broadway, go the limit, physical, brawling match. Really, really great match. If you haven't seen it, go seek that one out. I highly, highly suggest it. People get down in Ring of Honor, but that was like, that was great stuff. It was absolutely good here. Other people want to see Punk versus Ricochet. They want to see Punk versus Cena, Punk versus McIntyre. People calling it out. They all got their matches they're dealing with here. This is Sean Smith texting and saying Jim Ross said business is picking up at WWE and he wants in. I don't know if he said that.
He being Punk.
Oh, okay, that's what he's saying. Well, that's true. The business in WWE, whether or not people say the ratings are good, the business definitely is. Those TV contracts come in that you saw a fluctuation in their stock price there,
and we know that it must have been a big bag. We don't know how big of a bag or what was in the bag, but we know it was a big bag.
It's a big bag. So there you go. All right, it's a crazy time to be a wrestling fan. especially on Wednesday nights. It was very, very hard for me to follow 2 different wrestling shows we got tonight. 2 different incredibly fun wrestling shows. 2 shows with a lot of crazy things going on them. Let's get into AEW first, and then we'll talk about NXT, because I'm watching 2 different screens in here. Reel me in, Robert. Reel me in. Tell me what was going on this week's AEW. I got to see a lot of fun, exciting stuff out of it. What did you think?
So let's talk good first.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Jericho is golden. Chris Jericho is doing the best work of his life. MJF is a great promo. He came out to Cody's entrance. Oh, you SOB. He called Cody selfish. He said Cody, manipulated him. He turned his attention to Jericho and said, listen, I hear you want me to join the Inner Circle, which Jericho would just respond, I hear you want to join the Inner Circle. This was back and forth, back and forth. Jericho said something to the effect of, it looks like you just want to be like me. You're good looking. You're a cocky son of a bitch. It looks like your parents probably got horny watching me beat up Juventud Guerrera on WCW Saturday night.
Saturday night.
And 9 months later, you were born. And I thought that was the light of the year, perhaps. Jericho is a masterpiece on the mic. Wardlow debuted as MJF's version of Big Daddy Cool Diesel. I'm with it. I like it. MJF's got a heater. Cody Rhodes got a little sloppy on a power slam. I'm only calling it out because I know somebody will in the comments. I thought it was all good.
Hey, come on, smartass. You try and do a power slam in dress shoes, man. Come on.
I don't know. I'm with you. Cody is, he's the workhorse, but that did get a little sloppy. I also like Jon Moxley. I love Jon Moxley. Everything Jon Moxley does has been golden. Threw out an open challenge that nobody's got the balls to face me after what I did to Kenny Omega. Darby Allin, who just has no regard for himself, says, I have the balls. I'll face you. So they're going to be fighting next week. The Young Bucks and Proud and Powerful brawled all over the arena. Thought that was really cool.
And through a commercial break, they did the picture-in-picture angle where you got to see them brawl during the commercials.
Nice. I like that.
A lot of that on AEW tonight. They did a lot of, we'll keep the camera in the arena during the commercials. And as much as people say they're not reactionary, maybe they aren't. They were definitely reacting to the idea of tune-out factor.
I will definitely.
People.
I'll throw out the devil's advocate argument here of, for the rest of the world, there are no commercials. So it makes perfect sense for them to keep the angles running through the American commercial.
Yeah, in the UK, when the show airs, they're not legally allowed to air a certain amount of commercials, so they have to kind of work around that. So they don't break. So the flow of the show doesn't break up too much.
Right. I thought that was great. I thought Pac and Hangman had a great match. Pac is up on him again. He tapped him out to the Brutalizer. Let's talk about real quick what I didn't like. Very limited women interaction here. We saw Nyla Rose in a quick squash, and we saw Brandy and Awesome Kong cut Allie's hair. You will hear complaints.
The least amount of women that have been featured on an episode of AEW Dynamite. Now, mind you, we're only a month and a half into the show so far.
You're going to hear complaints about this. This was very minimal time, very minimal women, not the best look for them. I also didn't like, I don't pick on JR too much. I think JR is fine. But he called the show, he called Full Gear Fully Loaded several times, and it just came across like,
come on.
Like,
we're gonna flub stuff. It's all right.
Yeah, I know, but it's just, you got to be careful. And I'm wondering when, with all the backlash he gets on the internet from people who are just ready to kind of see it go to the wayside, when and how they will address it. I also didn't like the idea of the Diamond Dozen, or the Dynamite Diamond Dozen Battle Royal.
This is for next week in Indianapolis, correct?
Correct. They're going to be fighting for a diamond ring. Now, listen, nobody is the nerd for wrestling that I am. But if you happen to be, this is a solid take on the WCW Battle Bowl Championship ring.
They're doing the Battle Bowl thing?
Essentially, it's going to be a 12-man battle royal, and then the final two will fight an actual match for this ring.
Robert, I didn't even think it. That is very nerdy.
That is
like Battle Bowl isn't anything that people think of like like those kind of like cherished multi-man matches or tournaments or the Rumble or the King of the Ring or the Money in the Bank or
it's a deep cut, and I'm not saying it's not. It's definitely a deep cut that maybe I'm catching because I know and others don't. But it goes again in this line to me of like Cody really saw some ideas as a child and is just checking off this box of I'm getting this back on TV. I'm getting this back on TV.
I don't want to just say that, but that's certainly an easy assumption to make.
Because I mean, DDP is going to be the one. I know he's going to be on the show.
Is he the one who's going to give people the ring? He won a battle ball. He ring.
Won the battle ball. He literally defended it like a championship. And Bill Pritchard threw this out in a chat. Maybe this is the mid-card prize Cody was referring to.
Ring? You just wear a ring around your finger?
Maybe he's thinking, I got that over in ROH with the whole kiss the ring thing. I don't know. You know, again, not my cup of tea personally. I'm going to throw it in the bad column. But what did you like and not like about NXT?
Well, let's jump over to NXT and we'll give a rating for both shows. Okay, so let's talk about NXT. Solid show building towards what's going on with War Games weekend, Survivor Series weekend. Oh, Robert, did you get that text from me earlier today? Did you get that scoop I told you about what I'm doing that week?
I got the scoops, Kevin. Are you allowed to talk about the scoops? No, we can't talk about scoops.
I want to tell all of you so much what is going to happen.
We got scoops.
We don't got scoops. We got conversations. We got 3 must-hear conversations. Highly interactive, very, very special moments leading up to Survivor Series. I can't say it just yet because we got to settle on when we're gonna press record on the tape, right? But let me tell you, Wrestlezone fans, you are gonna want to make sure those notifications are on because we're gonna have something very, very special for you.
And let me be clear, this is not bullshit. This is not like we're not teasing Fast Food Royal Rumble. This is some hot interview action here, and I'll be honest, you told me some of the names. I want to be on those calls. I like those. These are some names that
these are calls, dude. I'm
Oh, these are face to face. Kevin Kellam is going to break some internets with these interviews. Did a great one earlier this year with the former SmackDown executive director, Eric Bischoff. If you're a fan of that, which I know was seen by almost 20, 30,000 people.
On Facebook, we did about 20, 30,000. We did around last time I checked, we were over 170,000 on YouTube.
Over 100,000 people saw
it. And then the audio version, I think, did around 70,000. So it was a lot of people that watched that or took it in. And let me just tell you guys, if you're a fan of the show,
if you're a fan of wrestling,
dude, you have no idea. And this isn't just one. This is more than one. And other people saying, call Big Kev, Raisin Brian, because he's bringing the scoops.
Yeah. Apparently, a Raisin Bran. Yeah, that means you're gonna help us poop. I guess I don't know. I will tell you, Kevin. Do you smell that?
What's that?
I think I smell a little smoke.
Oh,
from the heat of these interviews.
You are gonna get the smoke. You are gonna get the smoke. Okay, the smoke may go boom. The smoke may be nasty. The smoke may have a whole lot of heart. A lot of different stuff going on that weekend. Did you listen there? Hopefully you listened good. All right, so let's talk about NXT. This was another wild episode. I don't know what happened along the way. In the Wednesday Night Wars, we kept making this declaration that when you saw NXT, it felt smaller in comparison to AEW over on the other channel, the next channel over, because they're in arenas. But let me just say, maybe they changed the way they mic that crowd. Maybe the way they warm them up, right? But Full Sail is a lit, loud, engaging, spiritually pyrotechnic audience for wrestling. And they add everything to every single match that you see in the ring. I think that element of NXT feeling and being perceived smaller to AEW Dynamite is starting to be conditioned out. And when we saw those first few episodes, that was a big, big thing that you and I noticed and felt, right? And that's not to say that the AEW crowds aren't great or they aren't chanting cool stuff. They loved everything tonight. I thought AEW was a really solid show tonight, too. I know we leaned more on you for that stuff, but I thought NXT was outstanding overall. I thought Bronson Reed and Swerve had a really solid match. I thought the undercard was really thick. I thought opening hot with a title match of Garza and Lio Rush going back and forth. Lit crowd, people losing their minds. Garza getting that close, and Lio Rush cutting him off with one hell of a reversal. When they went for that kind of packaged neck breaker he's doing, and they flipped it into a hurricane run off the top rope. That was very impressive. I never saw it coming. It was a wild finish, and it establishes Lio Rush as a guy who's, you want to talk about people who are on bad terms with WWE, that guy was on really bad terms, but has come back and really added a lot of life and personality to the Cruiserweight Championship. Has really, really given it a whole lot of life to it. I really like what he's done with it.
As I understand it, did Angel Garza do a little Rick Rude action with the Lio Rush's wife?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did, and got that heat. And they played up to that. The old angle with Angel Garza going over and stealing the kisses. Couldn't get one from Lio Rush's wife. You don't fuck you. Oh, I almost swore that. you don't freak on another man's wife. You don't do that. You don't do that.
Nah.
You're asking for a whooping. You're asking for a whooping there, man. Good stuff. Good little bit of business there. Nothing super fantastic, but I love it here. People feeling NXT. Millie Mel saying it was straight fire. Full Sail was straight up fire. Carlos texting and saying, I hope NXT that Zaya will debut on Raw or SmackDown.
Lee kicked the nose off of Aaliyah's face, and I'm not like, don't get me wrong, looked like a clear accident because she just looked bloody and sad. But damn, Zaya Lee's got those kicks. Gonna have to change that name Zaya to Chun because we got some Chun Li actually going on. I mean, like, damn.
What was that one move that Chun Li would do in like Street Fighter? Was like, yeah.
Exactly, right to the face of Aaliyah. Dripping blood. Good Lord.
Yeah. It was. That's exactly what we got. Street Fighter 2, great game. Least favorite character in all of Street Fighter, Dalsim, the guy who would stretch and punch you. My little brother Brendan would always be Dalsim, and I could never get to him because he would do the stretch punches, and I could never work the body. I could never get inside his guile and work the body.
That's right. You got some Capcom talk on the Wrestlezone Daily. This is what we do.
We're going Capcom, baby. Street Fighter 2. Yes. So, Xia Li, fun match. Bad night for noses here.
Bad night for women, apparently.
Bad night for women's noses. Also, backstage, we had several segments where several different women on the NXT Women's War Games team building up to this big match got laid out. We don't know who laid them out here. Did you catch the cameo from Scarlett Bordeaux back there? She was back there, kind of aiding one of the members of that team was laid out. Triple H declaring, round up the troops. We're under attack, right? Because we're building up to Survivor Series. Chaos everywhere in NXT. Everything's going down. This segment where Finn Balor came out, got attacked by Matt Riddle, who then got attacked by the Undisputed Era, who then got cut off by Tommaso Ciampa and Keith Lee called out Roderick Strong. It was just nuts. I wouldn't say it was almost borderline overbooked, but in 5 minutes you were like, what? You're getting who? What? It kept you guessing like crazy. My head was spinning. And this was where I was like, it is very hard for me to turn away from NXT tonight. I am compelled to know what they're going to do next. Keith Lee, Roderick Strong, banger match. Keith Lee is a big man. Donovan Dijak is now a part of that War Games match.
But is he replacing Riddle?
What?
Is he replacing Riddle? Because I know...
He is replacing Matt Riddle. So in that kind of fracas, they kind of made it seem like Matt Riddle got hurt. But for whatever reason, they say he's out of the War Games match. And now at NXT War Games, we're getting Finn Balor versus Matt Riddle. Woo! Woo!
That is some spicy business.
Got my money. You want my money? Take my money now, right? That's the meme. So a lot of hot angles. The War Games match for the men looks really, really exciting with Tommaso Ciampa's team now having Dijak, Keith Lee, and it's going to be
still a gap, right?
Still, I think they may still, yeah. So they have a gap now. So Riddle's out and he wants to go do the match with Balor. So maybe that's where Gargano comes in. Who knows?
Yeah, well, I think if Gargano is healthy, I think he's going straight for.
Last time on Backstage, they said he is dealing with a neck injury.
How healthy is Dream?
Oh, Dream would be the perfect cut. He'd be the perfect choice here. You know? Hector Hernandez texting and saying Chicago is getting a heavy dose of the Undisputed Era at Survivor Series weekend, and I'm all right with it. Love the UE. Feeling the UE here.
I also love the UE. You know, I think they're the best unit in wrestling going today. I think they have a legitimate chemistry that maybe you don't see a lot in real factions. But I want to talk about the one thing I got to see on NXT, and that was the overrun.
This women's ladder match was amazing.
Nasty.
This was an incredible match. I think maybe it's the best NXT women's match they've had since that first week when they did that incredible Fatal 4-Way where Candice LeRae won that first episode on Wednesday nights. I thought that was absolutely great. This was outstanding. Io Shirai, the HBIC and Mia Yim beat the snot out of each other. Another bad night for noses. Io Shirai launching herself off the top rope, drop kicking a ladder into Mia Yim's face, and immediately you could tell from the commentary blood was flowing in Full Sail. People were saying, ooh, this is bad. They had to do some coverage. They had to tease something. They had to go to the replay. And we got more Mia Yim going out there, pouring her heart out in the ring to win that advantage at War Games, to see who would get the first multi-man advantage in this War Games match between the two teams with Io Shirai's team versus the good guys, the good gals. I shouldn't say good guys, good gals, right? The baby faces. But they really beat the snot out of each other. And it got even more violent after that, didn't it? Her getting knocked off that top of that ladder, going through the ladder on the outside of the ring. She took two really mean bumps. Hopefully she didn't break her nose because it looked like she did.
But who did the tipping?
Who did the tipping? Katie Lee. Am I saying that correctly?
No,
Kaylee
you're not. That is
Ray. All right. I didn't have my notes in front of me. I got
Kaylee Ray is in NXT, the NXT UK Women's Champion. The person who dethroned Toni Storm is now in NXT, and she's the fourth member of Team Baszler. What a random throw in, huh?
Yeah. And it adds another element. It shows that NXT UK is kind of seen on the same level as NXT, and you kind of get to see them mixed in there. You saw the 205 Live guys are like that too. They kind of get mixed in. I'm not opposed to that. I think it's a cool idea.
I like that those three brands are now just under the one umbrella.
Yeah, it's a good idea. You already have it with Raw and SmackDown. You already have a bunch of guys floating between. It does feel maybe you could say it doesn't make the brands feel defined. But I'm not against it if it works, you know? I wasn't against Finn Balor going to NXT, and he was a Raw guy.
Yeah, and he's finding himself. He's doing a lot of good business. I'm sad that Johnny Gargano seems to be legitimately hurt and out of War Games, because that Gargano-Balor match is going to be a banger whenever it comes on, but it should have taken place here.
I think we'll get an answer to that question the closer we get to Survivor Series, especially the closer we get to Survivor Series. I'll leave it at that. I think it was an outstanding show. This was one of the better NXTs. Out of 10, I'm giving it a solid 8. If War Games was this weekend and it was a straight up pay-per-view and it wasn't on the WWE network,
would you buy it?
Oh, I buy it $50. I get everyone together, so we can't miss this, man. Because they were just going all out. There were such battle lines. It's the Undisputed Era versus everyone. It's the Undisputed Era versus Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT. And now they've launched basically a 3-front war upon themselves And everyone's like, you know what, Adam Cole? You had a great week, but that's it. And I love the idea of that it's like you guys bit off more than you can chew, and now you're going to pay for it. And you crossed all of us, and we don't care if you went and represented NXT. We're taking the gold off you guys. I thought it was really, really cool. As much as Undisputed Era is over, they're now rising other people up with them. Yep. And it felt really balanced, very great escalation, great matches all around. AEW had a good night, but NXT had a great night. And I'm going to give AEW, I'm going to give it a 7. And I'm going to give NXT an 8 out of 10. What do you rate this week's shows? Did you watch one? We hold you to the honor code system. Shake my hand, Robert. Shake my hand. Robert, shake my hand for the internet. Shake my hand. All right? I'm going to hold you to your word. Now, you didn't get to see NXT yet.
I did not get to see NXT yet. Okay? But I did see AEW.
Now, mind you, I have the super ADD powers where I'm watching.
You have multi-monitors and AED, so you're definitely enjoying both of these shows at the same time.
If you watch both, we want to know your rating, okay? If you listen to the show on the podcast or something like that, give us a review and give us your rating or something like that. Shoot it off at us. Out of 10, what did you think here? Let's see what people thought. William Two Wages says he gives NXT an 8, and he gives AEW a 6.5, okay? Matt Pesselt says he gives AEW an 8 out of 10. He only saw that show.
All right.
Willie Mel gives it an 8.9. Which one? I don't know what you're saying
NXT,
there, buddy.
I believe he gives NXT an 8.9.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he definitely loves it here. And I'm getting yelled at. People saying, how could I choose AEW over NXT? You know what? This week, I thought NXT was better. That's it.
You know,
next week it could be different.
I saw AEW.
Hang on, Robert. They're not fighting for just my heart. They have to win over all wrestling fans. If you loved AEW, great, man. You know what you can do now? You can go watch this really cool NXT show I just told you about. And if I just watched NXT and I didn't see AEW, it's like, oh, dude, you see what Jericho did? You see that stuff that MJF did? And it was a great show. It felt really, really cool. It's a different, I think it's a different position for AEW to be in because this is their first like fallout from a pay-per-view. Yeah. So it was the first drop down. We didn't get any Kenny Omega. We didn't get any of those other things. But they did set the table really good. A Darby Allin, John Moxley match. That's like two really big personalities. I think that'll be a fun match there as well.
I wonder if they're going to try to strike it from the record. But I saw AEW, and I'm going to give it a 7.3. And here's why. It wasn't the biggest blow-away show, but I love the backstage brawl stuff. I love how they worked that in no matter what. Some solid storytelling on the Cody front that is not new. It was not Nitro. Scott George.
This is a funny comment for everyone on the podcast side. Scott George texted in saying NXT gets an 8 and WCW Nitro gets a solid 3.
It was not a Nitro. I mean, I know you.
I think Scott's referencing Jericho's WCW joke tonight.
You heard Tony Schiavone. I know you heard Juventud Guerrero tonight. That it was not Nitro.
But, who's going to win the Battle Bowl next week?
I really like the fact that Scorpio Sky pinned Chris Jericho in the main event. And Tony Khan was put on the spot all out weekend and said, where are the people of color in your world title picture? And he said, I promise you before the end of the year, you'll see something. And we just saw Scorpio Sky end the undefeated streak of Chris Jericho. Kenny Omega didn't do that. Cody Rhodes didn't do that. Adam Page didn't do that. That's some interesting storytelling for me.
It was the hottest angle that came out of the night. We already knew MJF was going to be a heel, so we kind of got his explanation for it. But we didn't get it by himself. You know, we got him sharing the stage with Chris Jericho.
And Wardlow, and a lot of business there.
And there was a lot of business in a lot of different directions. I kind of just would have liked to see MJF get the mic, his own stage, you know, and let me really set this up with Cody. Whereas they felt the need to do a lot of different things quickly. Let's get Wardlow in there as your heater. Let's get you making sure that you're not with Chris Jericho and the two of you bar back and forth. And then Cody's, it was entertaining. It was really, really good. in the short term, very, very fun television in the moment. And I can understand where AEW can think long term in other ways, like with the ranking system. That's a long term thing. You have to book long term, right? Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Did I die?
Okay.
Did I die?
I thought for a second I just missed you. So there was very, very fun stuff in that. But the thing that lost me is I kind of just wanted to hear him say something. But I can't be mad that they didn't like fulfill my fantasy booking because I was still entertained. The things that made me think it wasn't as exciting as NXT, the women didn't feel as big. This is the first time we saw two kind of squash matches as well. Dark Order is a fun gimmick, but it just isn't working. Peter Avalon is a character they're creating that's in spite of other characters you've seen before. It's a spoof of a character that you didn't like in the past, right? That's what they're going for. And I'm not saying the players aren't bad, but it's the same thing as the Lana Rusev angle over on Monday Night Raw that a lot of people hate. The players in it are great, but what's written for them isn't particularly great.
It's a weird wink and a nod that needs to end. I think it's
and I thought Luchasaurus coming out and saving the Jungle Express was a cool, fun moment.
Over like, wow. The dinosaur is over.
Don't feel like if you're an AEW fan because I said that NXT was better, that AEW. Don't worry about it. You can watch both shows. You're the winner, okay? The war isn't real, okay?
It's totally winner. Don't let Kevin mind you. It's totally real.
The winner at the end of every wrestling match, when it's really, really good, it can be the guy who has his hand raised. But do you know who really wins?
A winner is you, Kevin.
A winner is you. And we were the winners, dude. Wrestling is so good right now. So when I see so many people so attracted to negative stories, the ratings are so low. Look at these dipping ratings. And then they don't look at the demographic numbers and they don't look at the YouTube numbers.
Right.
And they don't look at this. And I'm just saying WWE there, or even for AEW. Like people say, AEW, like there's so many people that go at AEW because they just want to tear it down too. And it's just so unnecessary. It's so unnecessary. Wrestling is it's so GD good, dude. Just let it be good. Let the good flow.
So GD good.
And when it's bad, we'll point it out and we'll point out these things. Maybe we're just looking at the world with rose-colored glasses. If you're just tuning in, you didn't get a full rundown of everything, AEW or NXT. We have it for you at Wrestlezone.com. A lot of other big stories there. Once again, I give the nod this week to NXT, watching them both head-to-head. Give NXT an 8 out of 10 and give AEW a solid 7. You just saw AEW give us the full results. You gave it a 7.3. So another strong, above-average night all around. And people say I need to drink more of the bubbly. I need to drink the Kool-Aid there. Other people taking pot shots. Poor man's WCW is AEW.
Okay, all right. That's enough of that. That's enough of your negativity. I'm cutting you off here, Sean Lugapore, because we got to go into these plugs because you yell at speed you negative. It's not about negativity. It's about the power of positivity.
Other stories I want to mention for you guys going up right now at WrestleZone.com. The Miz and Paige have re-signed deals with WWE. Miz, former WWE champion at Grand Slam, just celebrated 15 years in the company, transitioned from a career in reality television to becoming, one of the biggest personalities of WWE over the last generation here. And Paige had to retire from the ring, but has been very prominently featured on WWE television, even though periodically she's in a prominent position now on WWE Backstage. Had a movie of her career made, Fighting With My Family. If you haven't seen it, it's really great. They just signed new deals, multi-year agreements, we're told by Ryan Satin. We don't know how long those deals are.
That was super weird. Different topic entirely. Go on.
Mm-hmm. Adam Cole revealed recently in that big breakout match he had when all the NXT superstars had to be rushed to SmackDown to save the day because of those Saudi Arabian travel issues, and his surprise groundbreaking main event with Daniel Bryan. He said that Daniel Bryan wanted to go a full hour on network television. That didn't end up happening, but they ended up having a great match.
According to Joe, Bryan just wants to always go an hour.
He's that type of guy. He always wants to be the Iron Man. Eric Bischoff comments on ratings not equaling direct success and why it's unfair to compare Monday Night Wars to the Wednesday Wars. An exclusive interview we recorded with him. Not exclusive. We did a media scrum. I'll be clear on that. But we have his media scrum video content that's up now at WrestleZone.com. That so much more. The podcast that we're going to have up for you, incredible. Tito Ortiz is going to be facing Alberto El Patron in the MMA cage for Combate Americas. And we got interviews with both men dropping in the podcast feed this week. Tito Ortiz, for you wrestling fans, does have some interests in the WWE, and no one is talking to him about it except Wrestlezone. So we'll have that for you. We'll also be talking to Alberto Patron, so that's coming up and dropping in the podcast feed as well. Another story we're following as well is ACH says he quit the WWE and tells people to stop calling him Jordan Miles.
That's a wild story. Go click on the link. We cannot do justice to that madness.
Yeah. And there's a lot of hearsay about what this situation is, and it will certainly develop in the next 24 hours.
Yeah.
And we'll have it covered. So, a whole lot going on here.
Whole lot.
It's time for plugs. We can wrap up here. It's just, dude, this is a crazy week here. Tomorrow, I will be at the Two Brothers Roundhouse in Aurora, Illinois for Still Not Fridays. It's a Thursday, but it's still not Fridays. If you're listening to this on Thursday morning and you're in the Midwest and you're somewhere near Aurora, come on out. I want to meet WrestleZone fans and stuff like that. Also, you can catch me the Friday before Survivor Series. I will be in Loves Park, Illinois at the Pigs Mine Brewing for the Pigs Mine Comedy Festival. I'll be headlining that mother. All right, I'm going to be there with the great Alex Tizanakis, and we're going to have a great time. A really, really cool show. Great craft beer. I'm performing at all the breweries, Robert. I'm all about that craft beer. All right? I'm doing all the silly jokes with the high volume IPA, baby. That's what I'm going to be.
You're getting very indie on me, Kevin. You're doing all this alternative rock stuff. You're drinking craft beer.
I'm a hipster, baby. I'm a hipster. Yes, alternative rock. I am currently in the studios of 101 WKQX, the best alternative rock radio station in the nation. You can listen to us on iHeartRadio, on TuneIn, anything. If you love new alternative music, want to hear some more, this is a great way to discover it and not have to depend on Spotify. And we have great commercial-free programming that you guys can check out as well. So definitely
got some good Bad Flower going on. Got some good AJR. Got some good Highly Suspect. I mean, get on this 101 WKQX. It works very well with your Echo Dot, which I will not say its name because it will interact. I think it's legitimately a great radio station. Yes, Kevin is my friend, but it's legitimately a great radio station.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We're building up to the Nights We Stole Christmas. 4 of the nights are sold out, but you can join us December 15th at the Aragon Ballroom in Chicago. 311, Highly Suspect, and the Glorious Sons. Some tickets still available. And that's the Nights We Stole Christmas. Give it a Google. 311, Highly Suspect, Glorious Sons, December 15th. Robert, Smart Out moment. What's going on over there?
We just did a really fun discussion chat. WWE Time Machine Dream Team. So we take themes and we go back in time and we go.
Say that 4 times fast.
That I will not do. We got. Would you put Hulk Hogan from the 80s on a team with John Cena from the 2000s? We go back and we break down all these things. We break down a team of Marty Jannetty's. It's very fun. On top of that, I do e-wrestling.
Wait, a team of Marty Jannetty's?
Basically meaning who would be the Marty Jannetty of their tag team? Obviously captained by the Marty Jannetty. So I'll just break that one down for you. For me, that was Marty himself, Jim Neidhart, Stevie Ray.
You thought that Battle Bowl inside reference tonight on AEW was bad. When you just that is so.
I know. My nerd dumb is it knows no bounds. And
excuse me, I am not the Marty Jannetty in this relationship.
And if you want to see me express that even more, go to eWrestling News and go to Fightful. I know Kevin usually gets all sour when I plug Fightful, but here's the thing. Go to Fightful.com, subscribe to Fightful Select. If you're curious about all the ongoings with the Saudi Arabian plane stuff, maybe the Jordan Miles stuff, I can't say for certain, but I would say hit up Fightful Select. But you know what? The one thing you really got to hit up is the Zone. I'm on the Zone. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night, baby. Doing the Wrestlezone nonsense. There's no paywall there. That I can say, honestly. 0 paywall. And
Robert, come back home. Come back home to the Zone. Come in. Come on. It's warm here. It's warm. We want you in the zone.
It is warm in the zone, and I hope that you have been kept warm and warm.
It is warm. It's cold in these winter months here in the Midwest. You gotta play together, baby. You gotta get with it here. Big thank you to all the faithful followers like James Espanto, Fernando.
We're getting in all the shit tonight.
Yeah, because Big Kim, Robert Rosso DeFelice is all the WZ crew going to be at WrestleMania. Maybe we got to do something for WrestleMania. It's that time of year where we got to start planning about that stuff, right?
Well, here's the thing. These friggin' WrestleMania tickets, there's nothing below like $325, bro. And I'm talking for nosebleeds. I'm talking for friggin' sit up in the sky and not even be able to see the talent in the ring. So we'll see. But I can guarantee you that there will be some Wrestlezonian action on the ground at Tampa Raymond James Stadium. It's a friggin' great stadium.
Bro.
The Vipers. Bro? Am I going to be there, bro?
Vince Broso going to be there, bro?
I think I go wherever I'm needed, Kevin. My show will be there. Will I be there?
The brand will be there?
The brand will be there. You friggin' mock, okay? The brand is going to be there doing these nonsensical media scrums. Not doing that, okay? I'm a real journalist. I created the Attitude Era, all right? I created it, bro.
You created it?
I created the friggin' thing. The whole friggin' thing was me. It wasn't no Cornette or no friggin' filter Vince McMahon. Please, I created it.
Vince Broso, you're ever the provocative man. While we have you here, you the inner wrestling booking demon that sits inside Robert DeFelice's soul. Can I ask you, how do you feel about CM Punk coming back to WWE Backstage here?
Please. Yeah, you really expect me to believe that these past 5 years he hasn't been sitting on the couch getting friggin' paychecks from WWE? Everything is a work, Kevin, haven't you been covering?
You're saying the entire time that he's been away and the entire lawsuit was work, the whole lawsuit, all that was work.
What makes you think it wasn't a work? Have you never seen Judge Judy? They do courtroom work all the friggin' time. They do the thing. You sit them in a courtroom. You think just because Ross Berman was in the courtroom that it wasn't a work? Are you out of your friggin' mind? So yeah, Punk is back. Whoop did he do? It's not gonna put any friggin' asses in seats. I'm glad I got you cracked up. These friggin' mocks, you're taking up my time. I don't get a lot of time in this body, okay? This thing happens overnight. You never know when I'm gonna show up. But I will tell you this, because you're friggin' mocks, you just don't get enough of it. So sit down, shut your mouths, and enjoy wrestling, bro.
Robert, return to me, Robert. I summon thee. Robert. The power of wrestling compels you. There you are, Robert. You've been exercised once again. Are you all right, Robert?
I don't know what happened.
It's like he takes off his glasses and he's Superman. So a lot of fun stuff here. Thank you so much for sticking around for the end of the show. See, you thought you got the plugs and people tuned out, but they missed that. So there you go.
Yeah.
And when you did that in the podcast side, you missed that as well. So thank you guys so much for supporting everything we do. Robert, tell them that one thing they need to do. I know we plugged a lot of things here at the end.
Enjoy wrestling.